been messing around with Steve's Stag, and he did say it was ponging of petrol a little bit. Now, this is classic kind of symptoms of overflowing carbs. I pulled the overflow pipe off each of the carbs, and they were full of petrol, which is useful because it goes onto that pipe, which then goes down and drops down the front of the engine. However, when I took the carbs off, yeah, it's a fair amount of petrol in the inlet there. I reckon that would start now. No carburetors on it. So I returned to base with these carburetors. I'm back at home address. And there's actually a fair few faults with these things, considering they weren't not that long ago rebuilt. So first and foremost, this is the piston and the dashpot that I had so many problems with the needle. And the problem I had with the needle was that it wouldn't actually go into the bloody hole easily. And even now, it goes in and then it comes out, but it's not easy. So I need to sort that out. When I'm pushing it out, I'm very, very, very gently finding in the middle of the thread, pushing the needle back out. So we've got an issue with the needle inside its hole. We've then got an issue with the damper going up inside the housing. Now, example, this one here, there's no spring in there. Gravity's pulling that down, I can see it. You can't see it, but it's coming down. Nice and easy. Nothing catchy, tough, or anything about that. This one, by comparison, catches right at the very top, so I can't push it all the way up. When I first started on this, I couldn't get any further than that, which is ridiculous. So the throttle was barely opening at all on this carburetor. So really, it's a case of pushing it in, pushing the shaft into the hole, and I'm twiddling it around a bit. If I had some grinding paste, it would make life an awful lot easier. Fine grinding paste. The whole thing's going to get cleaned anyway before it goes back into service. So once it's in, it's sort of, so that's already better just by doing that. What I've really been doing, first of all, I was running a large file, so I didn't have a small file, down the edge here, because when it wouldn't go any further than that, I had to run a file down here, and I found a couple of high spots on the casting here. There was one there, and there was another one round here somewhere. Just pick my fingernail here. Oh no, I've broken a nail. It's all right, emergency over. So I've got it to go a lot further. I mean, it looks like it goes pretty much the full length of the travel now, which I'm happy enough with. So that's going to work now. I think once that's all lubed up, I'll be happy with that. So as I say, it was a file initially to find the high spots. It's a helicopter, and then after that, it was just a case of using the 1500 grit wet and dry here, and also I just got a much tougher, like 100 grit. Again, I was just using this to see if I could find any high spots, because when you do that, you'll see a shiny spot, in theory, if there's any high spots in there. Now, not all of these lines on here were me savaging it with a file. So I don't know what's been going on with this fella. It's not the best one out there, though. But it's certainly responded. It's better. Right, so that was one of the problems I had. The second problem I had with this thing was that both carbs are flooding. Now, let's just pop these bits back together so I don't end up losing it all. There we are, that's all there. Now, when it comes to the carb flooding, there's a couple of reasons why the carbs might flood. First one is that the float chamber level is set incorrectly. Now we know how to do that because we can go back to one of my earlier videos and we can say, oh yeah, Richard showed us how to set the float level correctly. 16 to 17 mil at the highest point from the body of the carburetor, which is what we're going to do in a second. However, the second point I noticed on this is on this carburetor, which is the offside carburetor, the needle is not being pushed anywhere near far enough to go back in again. And I don't understand why. That vent is permanently open. So that seems a little bizarre. So that's not working properly as it's designed. And on this side, which is the passenger side carburetor, it don't work at all. So here the needle is not coming out. So what I'll do is I'll show you how I get around that. Now, choke seems to work on it. It's all just, I wouldn't say it's a shambles. Shambles is the wrong word. I think I've seen better. Can't even get that off there. That's going to stay on there. Right, so oh, well, the other thing you can see in here, I don't know if you can see that, these carbs have just been sitting here in the sunshine and the fuel is pissing out of the jet. It's all fuel, so that float chamber is absolutely rammed. And that's again the passenger side, no sorry, that's the passenger side carburetor. Passenger side, because this is the back of the carburetor. Now, top trick, because I didn't want to start faffing around with frayed throttle cables and frayed choke cables, I undid the arm that the choke cable goes through, just undid the 7/16 nut on there and just left the arm on the car. And the second thing was I left the whole plinth with the throttle cable on the car. I don't need it to set it up, I can set it up when it's on the car. Yeah, it just saved me battling with a dodgy throttle cable. Right, okie dokie. Right, I think we need to get these float chambers off next. Float chamber. Obviously I will renew the gasket. There is an awful lot of sediment in here. Now I know this engine was not running with a filter, fuel filter for some time. That's not going to help it really, is it? Right, so that needs to clean out. Now, the no gasket on there, let's see what the float level is set to. So I've got my flathead screwdriver. We'll get him so he's vertical, and we'll put the ruler on the body, and I'd say that is 17, which is fine. Float level's fine. So what we've basically got then is either a failed fuel feed, so we can try that by blowing into this pipe and lifting and dropping the feed. So we have to do it the right way up. Yeah, I'm happy enough with that. So that's working. I do need to clean out the float chamber though. That's not great, is it? Again, bit of old petrol. Have a look at all that shit in there. That's not healthy, is it? See, little bits of crap like that coming through the fuel line could have actually jammed the float valve open quite easily. It's entirely possible. Right, I will change the gasket, but for now I'm just going to pop that on there so I don't damage the float. Again, there's a world of crap in there. This all needs to come off because you measure float height without it. You level. That one's a bit higher, that one. I'd say that's 18. Let's go down a little bit. Now it's 17. It's only a mil out, but can make a difference. Now again, we'll check the float valve on this side. The other thing that's worthwhile checking is the float's off the float. So we can double check that just by lifting the float off. Off he comes. Don't lose the pin. I'll put him in the pool of petrol. Is he going to float? Fail. We'll try it in a bowl of water in a second. I don't see the reason why it wouldn't float. We'll give it a go. We'll just pop it back on there for now so I don't lose the pin or anything. $16. Oh no. Yeah, just over 16. Which is good. 16 to 17 is what it says. So check the float's float. Check the float height level. New gaskets. Give it a quick clean. Put it back together again. Oh! Now, one thing I did want to do was check these temp compensators. I'm not going to take them apart. I'm just going to dump them in a bowl of water and see if they open up around the same sort of time. Now the way that this car was flooding, I was a bit kind of, you know, the owner has kind of said, well, I've not had problems with it. It's been running beautifully, it smells of petrol every now and then, but you know, not had problems with it. Which always makes me wonder a little bit, you know, what suddenly happened? Nothing. Right, so that is really nicely opening. However, it's already wide open. Now, there's no way is it 40 degrees today. So that's going to need adjusting. Because they start to open at 40 degrees. Half open at 50 degrees. I think they're fully open at 60 degrees. I will double check. One of these was really loose, the other one's really tight. It's ironic, isn't it? Right, they can go there. Let's have this one out. I might actually have a box of gaskets here. This one's open as well. And blow straight through it. Well, that's not a lot of cop, is it? Let's have it open. And it's open by. See how much I'm pushing that down by? That's almost fully open, I would suggest. So either these have not been thread locked, or someone has just not set up properly. And bearing in mind the instructions are so difficult to find unless you know about the Grampian Stags website. I'm afraid that Zenith Stromberg kept these things a big secret. And again, this one, look how far he goes down. This is ambient temperature, so it's about 18 degrees today. In fact, let's have a quick look. It says no, I'm not in Bristol. I am in High Wycombe. And the temperature right now, 19 degrees. How about that? 19 degrees centigrade, Celsius, whatever you want to call it. So these need adjusting. Neither of those is right. Okay, so we can do those. What else do I want to check on this? Right, I want to clean up this. Oh, shit, we've got to put this float chamber back on, haven't we? This is all going to get cleaned up properly, so let me just scrape the worst of this crap out of here. And that is purely because it was run without a fuel filter, I'm afraid. That's the only reason all that crap is in there. I don't understand why, but never mind. It's happened. Now, we'll just lob this back on here. Again, new gaskets are going to go on. Fret not, rest thy sphincters. We'll look at the little vent valve next, and I'll show you how I unblock those. Now I've got them bunged up, eh? All I do here is, you've got the vent hole up here. If I open this up, can I push the vent open? No. So next thing I do, I've got some brake cleaner here. Carb cleaner would be better, but that's all I've got at the moment, is vent cleaner. Now there is a spring in here. Don't knacker the spring up. Right, that's starting to open now. Already that is starting to think about, it wants to. I'm only pushing it gently. I've got it opening and closing about 3 mil now. A bit more of this. I think that's going to be too big to go in there because that's touching the spring. No, it's alright. Now, ultrasonic tank is quite good at cleaning these up. But all I'm really doing is just wiggling that back and forth. No, it's stuck out now. There we go. It's stuck now. It's stuck in. Right, let's go again. Push him out, and then push him in. Push him out. It's gone a bit further. Push him in. Push him out. A bit more. Now he's all the way out. And don't want to go in, so what we'll do now is clean the outside of it. Get a flat blade screwdriver on the end. Now he's all the way in. All the way out. All the way in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. That is almost working now. It's getting there. Carb cleaner, like I say, would have been better, but brake cleaner in this instance is doing the job. And now you can see that is getting a lot better. That's just like a minute's work. No need to throw your carburetors away and put an alternative set on there. Just get yourself a can of carb cleaner and fiddle around with them for a couple of minutes. There you are, look. That now is working beautifully. So when I open the throttle now, the pin opens. When I close the throttle, the pin closes. How about that? And that is fully open as well. I've not broken the spring. Perfect, that's working there. Well, that's as easy as it gets, really. Or as difficult, I should say. There's still quite a lot of gank on it. As the pin's going in and out, it's picking up whatever crap is stopping it from opening in the first place. Right, so putting these arms back on again. I've got one on. Just put the little C-clip back on it. How far in does the C-clip need to go? There it is. It's all a bit grubby, really, so it's not the easiest thing in the world to see. Hours of fun. Right, that's on. So C-clip's back on. Now, what I basically want to do is adjust this screw now, so when the idle's at its stop position, and I'm going to assume that's the stop position because I've not taken this one out, I want to blow in here. That's pretty good, that one. we can adjust it a little bit further, just by adjusting that screw. So that's now open. If I just do at the screw a turn, if I get hold of the throttle, half a turn. Yeah, that should do it. Float chamber vent, that's one. Let's look at this one now, because this one was the troublesome little chap. Put the arm back on first. Open the throttle, push the arm on to the shaft. C-clip goes on. C-clip on and clicked into place. That's nice. That's working. Now the throttle opens. It opens that. So that is completely open at the moment. Let's just adjust him inwards. I don't think it's going to go far enough, you see. Yes, it's a long way out. I think it's this idle screw that's ballsed up. I'm going to wind it in one turn. I think what we'll do is, so that's 13.5 now on that screw rather than 14.5, and I'm going to set the idle properly because I'm not convinced that the idle was set properly on these carburetors. Right, now we've done that, most of that petrol's now evaporated away, so it's some more petrol I think, and we'll give these carbs a little bit of a dust down in a bowl. Should work, shouldn't it?